So you're all familiar with the Marshall County Graduate Profile, and 6 main points have been identified: communication, creativity and innovation, character, critical thinking and problem solving, collaboration, and citizenship. So what I'm going to be doing for the next few weeks is working on a technology integration for those 6 points. So for example, I know there are many ways in your classroom that you can have students demonstrate the points under communication. But what I'm going to do is give you some technology options for them to meet these points on the profile. So I'm going to start with communication this week, and then next week I'll pick up a different one. I've also linked this document that is a work in progress. So if you go to this link, just kind of know that I'm updating it all the time and I'm finishing it, so you can see that some of these I haven't started on yet. I've got a few that I come across that I go ahead and add in, but just kind of know that this is a work in progress. So for podcasts, I think are a great way for students to demonstrate, obviously, verbal skills. 2 tools that I recommend for that are Screencastify, which now has an audio only option. So I'm using Screencastify now to create this video. But if you'll look here, now once your video is complete or your audio, there's an export audio only option now. So that's a great, easy way for students to create a podcast. They also have the Screencastify premium version. Our district bought it for all of us. So Screencastify is a great tool in the students' hands as well. So don't forget that they can use that too. There's also a Chrome extension called Simple Audio Recorder, and it is very simple. It would just be a Chrome extension, which would be up here for the students. They click it, it basically, hits a record, they speak and then stop when they're finished, and it creates an MP3 audio file for them. So super simple, but those 2 I would recommend. For written communication, I love the citation tool it's actually a Google Docs citation tool. There's one in Google Docs, so you would go to Tool and then Citations. So just kind of know that that's there for students, and I think that links you to a tutorial. Email etiquette, I think, is just really important for students to know. So just going through, have a subject line. I don't have it linked yet, but I'm working on an infographic for email etiquette, subject line, professional email address, how to address your teacher, and that kind of thing. Next, for an interactive timeline, I love Sutori. I'm actually not sure I'm saying that correctly, but that's what we'll go with. This one is so cool, and it'll load. So the interactive timeline for the students to create, there are some examples at the bottom I just wanted to show you. So here's one for Aztec, Inca, and Maya. Okay, so the students would start out, there's a little bit of background, and then here's the timeline with the dots out to the side, and they can put all kinds of points. They can put pictures in there, different kinds of things down through there, and there are all kinds of templates and information for you to use. Here is what I love about it. Here's a YouTube video that's embedded at one of the dots. Here's a lightning quiz where there's a little question at the bottom. So super cool site with a lot of really cool features. You can share it. You can present it. Present mode is pretty cool. It actually turns each of these into what looks like a Google slide, is what we're used to. But I love this Sutori site for timelines. Spark has a timeline infographics. Great tool to use for that. And I'm a huge fan of Canva. They also have timeline templates for students to use to create really creative infographics. So tailoring to an intended audience, obviously Flipgrid is an easy one to do for that. And you kind of have control of that because you can choose, the students are usually sharing videos with each other or a specific site. Google Sites to create any kind of websites on their own. It's really easy to use, and you can tailor it to your audience that way. I'm a big fan of GridPals. GridPals is kind of an offshoot of Flipgrid, where you can make arrangements with other schools or other states, or schools in other states or schools in other countries, and you can communicate that way. Again, Screencastify in the students' hands is a great way, for students to tailor a message to an audience. And then I love historical figures tweets, and this will link you to a little tutorial and template for students to tweet as if they were historical figures. And I think that is great for an intended audience. I think it, gets you some historical knowledge is necessary, but then they can kind of tailor it to today. So I think that's a great one for that. And then provides and accepts feedback, the last one. Obviously, there are so many commenting tools available anywhere. So in all of your Google for education apps, like here's an add a comment. In Google Slides that we use to collaborate with so much, there's a comment section. So if each student has their own slide where they're putting information, you could then require other students to comment, on 2 or 3 other students' slides and give them some feedback. Conversation threads, like if you're using a Google Classroom or in Otis, there are some opportunities for that as well. So you can get some feedback going there. Padlet's a great tool for that, for students to put an idea and then students can comment on it and feedback. Mentimeter is a great tool where it creates a word cloud for you based on responses that you get back. So it's a great way to give and receive feedback. I thought one might come up here for us. But Mentimeter is great. Answer Garden, I really like. It's almost the same as Mentimeter. It will create a word cloud based on responses that you get. So it's a great way to get some really quick feedback in a really attractive manner. So those are just some ways that you can integrate technology into the graduate profile points. So if you have any questions about any of these, I'll be happy to help you. Just let me know. Thanks.